Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a huge shift happening in the accounting world. It's not just about who you have in your office anymore. It's about building a truly global financial engine. We're going to break down how the smartest firms are using brand new models for leadership and outsourcing to get a serious leg up on the competition. So let's just jump right in with the big question every modern firm has to ask itself. Are your financial operations stuck in the past? Because today's top firms, they're not just managing ledgers anymore. No way. They are building global engines for growth. Let's dig into how they're doing it. Okay, so before you can even think about building a global team, you've got to know what you're building on. And it all starts with defining those key leadership roles. Because, let's be honest, knowing who does what, that's the absolute foundation for smart delegation and real growth. Now, a lot of people use accounting manager and controller like they're the same thing, but they are fundamentally different. Think of it this way. The manager is down in the trenches, right? They're handling the day-to-day nuts and bolts, payroll, reconciliations, all that stuff. The controller, on the other hand, has that 10,000-foot view. They're guiding the ship, thinking about compliance, forecasting, and the big picture strategy.
Here's a great way to put it. The manager is recording the financial story as it's happening, day by day. But the controller, they're the ones interpreting that story to help write the next chapter. One keeps the engine running smoothly, the other is steering the whole company's direction.
And this is exactly why that distinction is so critical for building a modern team. See, once you know precisely who does what, you can start making strategic calls on which operational tasks can be sent to a global partner and which core strategic functions you really need to keep close to home. Having that clarity in roles is what's really fueling a much bigger trend, the move away from purely in-house teams. The entire industry is shifting toward a model that's more connected, more collaborative, and, you guessed it, more global. And let's be super clear about something. This is not about replacement. It's all about empowerment. The whole point of these hybrid models is to create this powerful ecosystem that blends your domestic expertise with amazing global talent. The result? Way more efficiency, speed, and strategic control. So, you might be wondering, what do these new collaborative models actually look like in the real world? Well, there are three key approaches that are really defining the future of accounting. Let's break them down. First up, we've got nearshoring. The easiest way to think about this is strategic outsourcing, but to your neighbors. So for firms in the US, this often means partnering up with professionals in Latin America. It's a model that really tries to give you the best of both worlds. The biggest win with nearshoring is just how seamless the integration is. I mean, overlapping work hours completely get rid of those annoying communication delays. You often have stronger cultural alignment, which makes working together feel a lot more natural. And of course, on top of all that, you get some pretty significant cost savings. All right, next up is offshoring. This is where you expand your capabilities by tapping into a truly global talent pool. And we're not just talking about basic data entry anymore. We're talking about hiring highly skilled CPAs from around the world to manage really complex tax, audit, and accounting functions. Offshoring is an absolute powerhouse for efficiency. A 24-hour work cycle means projects get turned around so much faster. Scalable support means you're never scrambling during tax season, but maybe most importantly, it frees up your team at home from all that repetitive work so they can focus on high-value client strategy. That's the real magic. And finally, there's a really smart solution out there for firms that are laser-focused on growth: white label accounting services. Here's how it works. You outsource work to a partner, but that partner delivers everything under your firm's brand. As far as your client knows, it's all you. This model is incredible because it allows a firm to scale its services almost infinitely without the massive cost of hiring more full-time staff. You keep total control over your brand and your client relationships, while a trusted partner just handles the execution behind the scenes. It really is a true win-win. Okay, so let's pull all these powerful ideas together. When you combine those clear role definitions we talked about with these new global collaboration models, you really start to see what the future of accounting leadership is all about. The key takeaway here is this phrase: ecosystem thinking. Leadership isn't just about who's on your direct payroll anymore. Not at all. It's about your ability to build, to manage, and to leverage a powerful network of global talent to hit your firm's biggest strategic goals. So the million-dollar question is, what does all of this mean for your firm? With all these options, how in the world do you choose the right path forward? Well, this framework here makes the choice pretty simple, because your strategy should always, always follow your main goal. If pure cost reduction is your #1 priority, an offshore team is a fantastic fit. If seamless communication is what keeps you up at night, nearshoring is probably your answer. And if you want to scale your brand to the moon, white label services are the perfect tool for the job. You know, at the end of the day, the firms that are going to win the future are the ones that embrace this kind of flexibility. They're the ones building these smart, scalable, high-performing ecosystems that blend the absolute best of technology, in-house talent, and global partnerships. And that brings us right back to that central question we started with. In this new landscape, just balancing the books, that's table stakes. The real choice is this: are you simply managing the present, or are you actively building the future? Thanks for watching.